Government shutdown continues as we head into the third week. The Senate failed to pass the Republican bill to extend government funding and to end the shutdown for a 10th time. The vote, 51 to 45. The Senate needs 60 votes to move it forward. President Trump spoke on the shutdown earlier this week.
Well, look, I mean, all we want to do is just extend. We don't want anything. We just want to extend, live with the deal that they had. They want to spend $1.5 trillion on illegal immigrants, and they want to destroy health care for everyone else. And it's crazy. It's crazy. People that are here illegally, they want to spend $1.5 trillion. So we're just not going to do it. No, we have to take care of our health care.
Joining us now is Dr. Todd Belt, a political science professor at George Washington University. Dr. Belt, welcome back.
Mark, it's great to be back with you. Thanks for having me on.
You know, we're always glad to have you. The third week of the shutdown is winding down. Your thoughts so far?
Well, we've had some mixed messages going on. We know that there are three things that the Democrats are demanding. They want the extension of the ADA tax credits. They want to roll back some of the cuts to Medicaid. And they want some sort of legislation or agreement whereby Donald Trump can't change what the Congress has approved in terms of funding. And the Republicans, they just want a clean resolution. And it looks like they could just take the high road and do that. But you've seen Donald Trump trying to cut some of the spending for Democratic cities and states and say that he's going to engage in some layoffs and then moving some money around, which Republicans don't like, in terms of being able to pay the military. And so there's some question whether or not he has the ability to do that. He is supposed to contact and get authorization from the appropriations committees to do that. So he's actually rubbing his own party the wrong way a little bit in Congress, too.
Well, you mentioned the Democrats have a lot of asks. The Republicans, they want just a clean bill. How can they find a compromise to get the government reopened, at least on a temporary basis?
Right. This is really the question. There are some in the Republican leadership, like Steve Scalise, who are taking a very hard line on this, and they say they don't want to change anything, that the Democrats have to approve the continuing resolution before they start the negotiations. Said a week ago that he would be willing to meet with the Democrats, and then he walked that back. So for the Democrats, they're wondering if they enter into a negotiation, are they going to have a bargaining partner that's really on the square and on the level with them when there's so many different types of positions coming out of the Republican Party? There are a lot of Republicans. We've heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we know that there's some other silent ones out there who really want these ADA tax credits because it's going to affect their voters. They don't want to go back on the Medicaid cuts because they just passed that on the July 4th big beautiful bill, and some of them might want some of the restrictions on rescissions. Some may not. I think the way out of this is that they come to some deal on the tax credits, and then you get an up and down vote on those other two asks that the Democrats have.
Is that a compromise, Dr. Belt, that scenario where both sides could come out with a win?
I think so, because Republicans are facing voters next year who are not going to be very favorable to them. We know traditionally the president's party loses seats in the House and the Senate during the midterm elections, and they want to shore up their voting support. And if they take away these tax credits, they could face some very angry voters at the ballot box.
The last shutdown we had was 2018, 2019. President Trump was in office. It lasted 34 days. Does this look like it could go longer?
Well, we're creeping up on that. And the thing is, it could probably go longer if we see the administration continue to fund some of those vital jobs, such as the military, to reduce some of the pain. That's what the Democrats are trying to afflict some pain on the Republicans and get people screaming at their representatives. And if they don't have that, then they lose some of their leverage. So this might continue on a little while. President
Trump said before he became president the first time that anytime there's a shutdown, it shows weakness in the Oval. Do you think there's anything he can do to help bring this to a close?
I think any sort of discussion will probably involve the president, because the Republican leadership has taken a real strong line. Johnson and Thune have been real strong about just wanting that clean CR. They're going to need the president to have to elbow them a bit to get them to agree to any sort of compromises to move that forward, I think.
Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.